Okay, topic, brain health. And we came up with a good title for today, The Amazing Aging Brain, because it only gets better as we age. Yes. No fogginess, right? No brain fog, no forgetfulness, none of that stuff, right? So I'm going to talk to you about why that might happen and some things that you can do to help yourself as you age, so we can age gracefully and age well and just be fit. So the first thing, we can't talk about our brain without talking about our gut, because they are connected. And so I know you've probably, if you're in the health world at all reading things, you've probably read about the gut-brain connection. It's really, really big. So how big it is there are like 10 signals that travel between the two of those things, like 10 main signals, 10 main pathways. And do you know how many go down from the brain to the gut? Yes, you had it. 1. So do you know how many then, if we can do math, go up from the gut to the brain? Yeah, so you guys already know how crucial this is for this. So when this is disrupted, this is going to be a little foggy and a little off. And here's the thing too about your gut and your brain. When your gut has that inflammation in there, when it's affected, and gut is talking about all pieces to that. So your stomach, your intestine, your large intestine, your colon, all of that. If it has inflammation that's triggered, it's going to travel up into your brain. So that inflammation is going to be all through the system, right? And when it's inflamed, it's going to affect how you're thinking. That fogginess, maybe cause headaches, trigger that kind of stuff. So we can't talk about one without the other because they're super crucial. So the main thing is we've had a gut talk before. So if you weren't here for that, maybe we can do another one soon. But that is going to be where you keep your gut intact. We talked and we learned all about marshmallow root was a really good one for keeping your gut lining in, good health. We talked about some probiotics that were good, but that is going to help you feed your brain better. So we may have to do another one of those soon. But we have that gut-brain axis, and it controls the digestion, your mood, and your emotions. Did you know that what you eat can oftentimes affect your mood and your emotions? Mm-hmm. We notice that sometimes, right?
Makes me feel better.
Yeah, I think chocolate makes anybody feel better. I mean, I'm serious too. You have to have chocolate, right? Yes, and it's on here too. Just so you know, dark chocolate is on our food list. So I eat at least 3 squares a day, because that's like 3 times a day you need it, right? Morning, midday. 3 doses, yes, 3 doses a day. It's little squares. But it affects your mood and your emotions. And I think the older that we get, we need those little things like that, not only to look forward to, right? But create a little more dopamine in our system. And chocolate will do that. And if you have something to look forward to, morning, noon, and evening, piece of chocolate. It's easy. And you get magnesium. I mean, there's good things in there too. So it affects your mood and your emotions, and that's why sometimes when we have those like heavy meals, we get super tired and it drags us down, like Thanksgiving meals and that kind of thing. It also affects your metabolism, that gut-brain axis, that metabolism being able to be activated. So thinking good thoughts about weight loss can also help the whole weight loss process, right? Gut-brain connection, you can eat well and you can also think positive. Your inflammation, we talked about that just a little bit. Where that inflammation, if it's in your system here, it's going to travel up to the brain. So keeping your gut super happy and super calm and less inflamed will be a good focus for keeping your brain good. So the gut highly affects the brain and all of its processes that it goes through. So when the gut is healthy, then our brain feels like a superhero. That's why we feel good sometimes, because everything's good, right? In our gut, everything's flowing good. We had a piece of chocolate. and we're good to go. So keeping our gut barrier strong so that our food is digesting appropriately and our microbiome has good healthy bacteria, it's going to keep our brain super happy. The vagus nerve. How many of you know about the vagus nerve?
It's important.
Yes, yeah. So the vagus nerve is the nerve that travels down through. It's all connected in your gut, and it travels from your brain and down through your gut system. It is where the enteric nervous system controls like bowel movements, that peristalsis action that helps you, have that bowel movement, the urge to go. That's all connected with your nervous system and the vagus nerve. So all of those highly affect one another. The vagus nerve is that primary highway that all those signals are going to travel through. And if it's tense, can you imagine trying to send signals through that tense, area? So the traffic's going to back up in there, not going to be able to flow appropriately. So keeping that super relaxed and calm is going to be very helpful for your brain. Things you can do. Has anybody ever done like some vagus nerve work? Humming, it activates your vagus nerve, and it will stimulate that. So it sends those calming signals through it. So, humming in the morning, you can make your coffee, eat your chocolate, and hum, and, just turn on music and move, because movement is good too. We're going to talk about that. You can also take on the sides, if you can feel where that tendon is that's connected to that, and it's like a tube, like your tube that runs down through your neck there. You can yeah, like your arteries that come through here. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, is it the carotid? Is that the same thing?
Well, it runs in there, so it's going to be around these areas where they get really tense. Sometimes they may even feel a little bit sore to touch. You can massage those areas, just kind of pinch and rub around them. You don't have to do it super hard, but you can always just massage that area and help keep it relaxed. And not so tense, so that those signals can, travel through there. Stretching your neck to the side like this and just giving it a nice long, stretch there, and then tilting it to the other side where that you feel a slight pull, but nothing that's painful. You never want to feel in pain when you're doing that. So just kind of stretching lightly to the sides will get that loosened, and giving your head a turn and turning that also activates your brain, both sides of the brain, left brain, right brain, just turning your head back and forth. Also taking your eyes and doing a little brain exercise and looking up to the corner and down to the corner, like doing diagonal looks up and down and then going the other way up and down. That also activates your brain, cross brain there.
Do you move your head when you do that, or just your eyeballs?
Just your eyeballs, yeah. Just moving your, it's like an eyeball workout. So you're just moving your eyes up and down the corners, up and down the corners. It's good stimulation. And then make sure you get centered back again, because sometimes it can make you like, woo, feel a little off. But taking deep breaths also activates that vagus nerve and relax and calms your system. So those deep belly breaths, if you've been a part of my classes before, I've probably showed you how to do those deep belly breaths. It feels awkward at first, but you are actually taking deep breaths that bypass your lungs and fill up your belly first, and then you exhale out. So it's like a so you're bypassing that. You're filling up your gut, which is hugely, we know, connected to your brain, with all that oxygen, which is then flooding your brain with oxygen. And we need more oxygen for our brain to function appropriately. So doing that throughout your day is super helpful. Even if you wake up in the morning, take about 2 or 3 deep breaths like that, and then eat a piece of chocolate. And then at lunchtime, take a few more deep breaths like that and eat another piece of chocolate, and you've gotten like, the whole thing feels amazing, right? You've gotten oxygen in, magnesium, dopamine. I mean, You feel good after that, right? So that's why too, we've talked about this probably before, but that's why, you know, parents would tell their children to take those 3 calming deep breaths, because it really does calm your system down. But most kids want to do like I did 3, you know, like those aren't breaths. Those were like, oh, this was just silliness. Okay, any questions so far? The gut detects nutrients. So that's kind of what happens first, is your gut's detecting these nutrients, bacteria, and any stimuli that comes into the, you know, into the body. So it's kind of activating that process, and then it'll send the signals up to the brain from there. So you can see how that automatically affects. We have all those receptors in our gut system, and they're recepting things and receiving things constantly, and even emotions. Okay, we do digest our emotions. They do go through our digestive system, and our gut detects those. So, you know, butterfly feelings, right? We remember those. Like, they might get less as we get older, but those butterfly feelings in the belly, your gut feeling, you know, I've got a feeling in my gut. Our emotions are processed in there. So it detects all those things. It'll send the signal to the brain, and then the brain is constantly processing and sending instructions back through the system. But again, if that vagus nerve has some problems, those instructions can sometimes get, you know, wonky on the delivery. But if we keep that calm and we're always taking care of that, it should be very, very helpful as we age. Okay. So foods, I want to talk about those because they're super important. As we know, the foods in the gut. These are not, I didn't put like a huge list. There are tons of amazing foods. I put like the favorite things that I like to focus on for different reasons. But wild blueberries are my favorite because they're high fiber. So they're super high fiber, more fiber than the regular blueberry. But they're really, really good because they have high antioxidants for your brain. So they help with the oxidation of your cells and of things that go on in the body. So that antioxidant takes care of the oxidation. But they are super helpful with that oxidation. And oxidation happens in our cells. The same, you just look at it like an apple. When you cut an apple and it turns brown, that kind of thing, that's what will happen in the cells if they don't get enough antioxidants to kind of take care of that process. So red grapes, super good. The darker the berries like that, the more helpful they are for antioxidants in your system. That's just always a good thing. Like purple cabbage is going to be more antioxidants than green cabbage. Anything that's purple, red, darker like that. Strawberries and goji berries. Has anybody had goji berries? Okay, they're really yummy. You can get dried goji berries. You can rehydrate them if you want in some water overnight. You can make tea with them. You can eat them. I'm just going to say they're really good in chocolate. So another reason to have chocolate. But goji berries, they look like raisins, but they're really a fun red color, like a pinkish red. They're really fun looking. So get some and try them out. They're yummy. They're super high in antioxidants. They're also an adaptogen. I should probably tell you about those real quick. Do you know what adaptogens are in the body? Okay, so when you eat those or you take those as like herbal teas that are adaptogens, they get into your body and they kind of adapt to what your body needs stress-wise. So like they help your body through stress, they help you, just through life in general. So goji berries are, maybe you should just have goji berries and chocolate for every morning. You get a piece of chocolate and goji berries for the day so that it can help you adapt to your day. Okay, mangoes. Mangoes are also really good. Oranges, asparagus, sunflower seeds. Those are the high vitamin E seed that you like. Those are just so good for your system. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, that vitamin E. So it's super helpful for hormone health, for brain health. Walnuts again, and I always heard this story about walnuts that they look like a brain, so they're like supposed to be good for your brain because they resemble like a brain shape. And then Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are amazing. Those are super helpful for your liver processing out stuff, but they're just really good because they have omega-3s in them. They're one of the few veggies that have omega-3s present. Carrots, and that's with the beta carotene. So beta carotene's really good for brain health. Broccoli, tomatoes, any greens. So that kind of covers like spinach, collard greens, kale, all the good leafy greens. Bell peppers are great. Avocados, we know that healthy fat's really good for your brain. Okra is awesome. So a really fun recipe for okra, and it's been at the farmer's market a lot lately. When we've gone, we've picked up a bunch fresh at the farmer's market, but a fun recipe. So we chop ours up, and it's so yummy. Chop them up in the little like bite-sized pieces, and then I just like get my hands all clean, I dip it in the beef tallow. If you haven't cooked with beef tallow before, it's really high in lots of good minerals, vitamins, but it has a high smoke point, so you can cook at a really high temperature, and I like things crispy, like it's just feels like it's fried to me if it's crispy. So I get just a big handful of like the beef tallow, and I just massage all of the okra pieces in that, sprinkle a little bit of salt, and I throw them in the oven on broil and just toast them up. They are very yummy.
Goes away?
Yeah, sort of goes away. Yeah. It makes them crispy, and you could even keep them a little bit longer and have like okra fry. I feel like it would be like an okra fry if you didn't chop it in little pieces. But anyway, that's a good recipe for okra. Lentils are really good. And if you haven't had lentils before, they're really interesting. They're just tiny. They look like a small, like flattened bean. You can get those and sprout them even. It makes it easier for your digestion. And if you sprout them, it's another fun recipe. So if you, I almost feel like I should have made you recipe cards today. Another fun recipe, you can take 1/4 cup of dried lentils. You can soak them overnight so that they'll sprout, and then you rinse and drain them the next morning. You put them in a little blender with some water. So you don't want to get too much water in there. Probably maybe about like 1/4 cup or a little more than that to start, and blend up those in water. They make like a batter, so you want it to look almost like a pancake batter. You can pour that in a pan, and you can make little pancakes with it, or little like tortillas if you do it thinner. It makes the best little like bread. Like you could make a wrap with it. You could wrap up we do this all the time at home, make little wraps. We make little like sandwiches and just make, little pancakes, make us a sandwich right on top of it.
Seasoning in it?
You can put any kind of seasoning, like you could put Mexican seasoning, salt, you could just put Italian seasoning, anything you want. You could make it spicy.
Why don't you do a cookbook for us?
I should just bring you a cookbook next time. Yes. I don't like to do things in the kitchen unless it's, super easy. So I'm not all about like tons of ingredients and time.
Very good.
I need quick and easy and cheap. And you can get a bag of lentils for like $4, and you could make probably, I don't know, maybe 50 pancakes out of that. I mean, it's super cheap. No, I've even used a mix. I've even put red, black, and green lentils all together and mixed that up, and yeah, it's great. Red lentils, I think red lentils are really good with Mexican because they have a sort of, peppery flavor to the red lentil, so it feels like it makes a better Mexican dish. But anyway, that's just a fun recipe for lentils. Cheap too, for budget friendly. The next one, I feel like we don't know a lot about the next one, so we should probably talk some more about dark chocolate, because it's really, we haven't talked enough about it. But Hue chocolate's a really good brand, so we've already covered that. Salmon is great. Omega-3s, you've got all the good B vitamins. That's what we need for good brain function. But again, this is just a list of some of my favorite things, not really all the comprehensive list. So, boost your brain power. Here's the important nutrients you need for boosted brain power. Magnesium is very crucial it takes care of like 300 different things in our body. So we need magnesium to do a ton of different things in our body. We get depleted as we get older in that magnesium, plus it's something that we're all lacking in. Magnesium glycinate I think is amazing. It will help you at night. So you would want to take that at night. It helps your body relax, it helps your joints, it helps your muscles if you've got muscle pain, tightness. It's good for calming and a good calm sleep. There's also magnesium L-threonate. It's the only form of magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it's a good brain one. B vitamins. They're super, super helpful for your brain function. We know that B12, that's one of the most talked about ones. It gives lots of energy. You need those B vitamins for tons of processes in your body. Our body is going to absorb and recognize better food vitamins than synthetic vitamins. So some people say, you know, I take this vitamin and I feel better. It does make you feel better for a bit, but that synthetic vitamin takes longer to process and it's harder on your liver. So anytime you can give your body something that's easy, your liver thanks you very much, and then your gut and everything doesn't have to work so hard. So which means then your brain gets less inflammation and stress. Next things, spices are super awesome for your brain health. And we have these in our kitchen. So sage. Sage is so good for memory, cognition, focus. Rosemary, same thing. A really fun thing to do at night is have a rosemary mint tea. Those two together taste so good, but also helps you relax and it helps mental clarity. Turmeric, we know all about turmeric. Turmeric is amazing. It helps with inflammation, it helps with brain health, it helps the whole system. Digestion, there's almost, I mean, it pretty much helps everything in your body. Joint health, all the things. Then saffron. It's like not something common we have in our kitchen. Really expensive too, spice, but it's a really good at brain health, like really, really good at brain function, calm, focus. It helps relax the body. Like it's an amazing herb, spice, however you want to look at it. There's different things out there you can get. Most of the time it's going to be expensive, I'll just tell you that. There's really good companies that have saffron, but it's going to be more expensive. It's awesome. We've used it with kiddos all the way through. Like it helps with kids and their brain focus and function all the way through your ages. So, okay, next list on here is mind over age. Age is just a number. Yes, it is. Our mind is way better off. So things that help, and I know you know these things, but I just want to remind you, staying active is super important to your brain. Your brain needs you to move. Your brain needs you to think. So you need to solve puzzles. Do brain games. That's on there too. Make sure that your brain is engaged and active. Have anybody ever had this happen where you wake up maybe a little too early in the night, but your brain is like not stressed, but it's like, okay, I'm ready to think. Has anybody ever been there? Like my brain just like, oh, it's time to get up, it's ready to think, right? So make sure your brain gets some thinking, gets some stuff during the day and stays active. That's super helpful. And I feel like those times we wake up like that, it's just a reminder that your brain needs that. Like we just need to make sure we're exercising our brain. Community is important. Like what you guys are doing here is super important, and staying connected, getting out, talking with people. It helps your brain so much. It helps our dopamine, our serotonin, oxytocin, all of those like good hormones that our brain needs. It really activates those and gets them flowing. So stay in your community, stay active. Even when you don't feel like it, just do it, because it makes you feel better every time. I'm sure you've been there where you're like, oh, I just don't feel like going today. And then you go and it's like, well, sure, I'm glad I did that. So push through the things. But also rest sometimes. I mean, if you need rest, listen to your brain about that too. Deep breathing, we talked about that. That is very helpful for oxygen in the system. And lymph work. We talked about this in the last class, but I'll just touch on it for a second. Your lymphatic system, we know we covered a little bit of this, but it is your sewer system of your body. So it is, taking toxins out of your body. It also is where your fat soluble vitamins are traveling, like all the fat in your system. So we really don't want that system to get clogged, right? It's just like your house. I mean, the last thing you want is your toilets getting clogged and overflowing, or septic tanks, which we've had some of those happen before, and things like back up into the tub, and that can happen in your body. And so we don't want that to happen. And as we age, it gets slower and more sluggish and more cloggy. So it's just like a house. When the house is older, the pipes are getting more cloggy. So lymph work is going to be helpful, keeping you young. Laughing is helpful. There was a time, Michelle will probably remember this, when we were introduced to this yoga, like stretching thing, but it was called laughing yoga. So did we YouTube that? Okay, so YouTube laughing yoga, because you'll just get a laugh out of it. We never even did the yoga part. We turned it on and we just laughed. So what they did is they would just and they would just be stretching. How can you even do yoga when you're... So that's why we just turned on the videos to just laugh. So get a good laugh. Watch something funny. Turn on laughing yoga on YouTube. I don't know. But anyway, you don't have to do the actual yoga part, but just the laughing part. It was super funny watching this instructor as she just laughed her way through the yoga, and we were like, okay. Very comical. But definitely laughter is good medicine. It really, really is. Getting that laughter in that you can, even where it makes you cry, that's so fun. So do that when you can. Laugh with a good friend. And jumping. Jumping keeps you young. Okay, you don't have to actually take your feet fully off the ground, all right? But you can bounce, okay? So if you just keep your toes on the ground, you can just do like this. Just do that. It's fun. And then you can walk and do it. Okay? Walk around, bouncing and shaking your arms. It really helps relieve things like all through your body, just shaking and jumping. There's a lady, and she had been talking to us about like aging, and she said that that's why people like age quickly, is because they stop jumping. So I've never forgotten it. And I've also probably told you the story about Dick Van Dyke. I know if you've been in my class, I think we shared about Dick Van Dyke, but I was with my grandmother all the time, and we watched I Love Lucy, I Dream of Jeannie, and Dick Van Dyke Show. I grew up on all those shows. They were my favorite shows. Love them still. Could watch I Love Lucy every day. Love her. But so Dick Van Dyke, I watched him when I was growing up, and then he came on a talk show one time. This has been years ago, like my kids were little. But he came on a talk show, and I was like, oh, I'm going to catch this. Dick Van Dyke, I love him. I'm going to watch the show. And he was sharing about how his joint pain had been so bad, but that jumping on a trampoline had helped him. And so he had this trampoline with a bar that was connected to it that he held on to so he didn't fall over. And he just said he jumps on the trampoline every day. And so I bought a trampoline. I still have a trampoline in my house. So get a trampoline and get something to hold on to and just be a kid again. Be a kid again. We won't age as fast if we jump on trampolines. I wish we could put trampolines all in here, and next time I come, we could all just jump on trampolines.
And laugh.
And laugh. We'll do laughing trampolines. Yes. We'll make our own class. So, jump. And then my last thing on there to say is have fun. Make sure that whatever you're doing, make it fun. Like, just have fun. Sometimes it's hard, but like even when you're in the kitchen cooking, turn on music. And there's lots of like good old songs. We grew up too. Another fun thing is my husband and I, we've dated since we were in high school together. And we used to ride around on Saturday nights and listen to Saturday Night Goldies. And we would listen to the oldie music, and we would drive through car lots when you could still drive through car lots and like wish you could buy those expensive cars, right? So we would that's what we did all the time. So turn on those like nostalgic songs for you. So those are nostalgic for me, and I turn those on all the time. Or the songs that you remember like in high school, because those are fun times. Turn on those songs because they just make you feel good, and they get that flowing in your system. So those signals that your brain's getting are those good, happy signals. So where the Bible says focus on like what is good and pure and true, I mean, those are good and pure and true. Turn on the good oldies songs and just dance in your kitchen like when no one's looking and all that fun stuff. That's kind of my spiel about brain health. There's so many things we could talk about though. I felt overwhelmed when I was looking at all the things like together, but I felt like what we needed today was more of something that could be super helpful and how to age well. So I kind of focused on how to age well because that's what I'm focused on too, and just keeping my body happy and healthy through stressful things and through aging and, you know, things slowing down in your body, because it might be slowing down, but we can support it. Yes? Yes. Okay, any questions? Okay. All right. Yes, have a good day.